able to kind of match it up.
Yeah, and the next qualifier is going to be coming up here very shortly, and if I'm not mistaken, we actually have Marshall, our number 8th ranked player, and then Kyrat, our number 5 player, who's going to be racing in this qualifier. And with that being said, our racers for qualifier number 2 are ready to go. So we're going to send it down to the stage, get them on stage and ready to go for this qualifier. I'm excited to see what these racers are going to be doing right now. And it looks like Me Gamer's dad is actually going to be racing here as well.
That's his name is literally Me Gamer's dad, 01. So that's a beautiful name.
Can't beat it.
We have a Kit Kat, of course, leading the charge. Roxy Girl. We have Kay Watson, Gamehogg, Kyrat, and Marshall are going to be our 2 ranked players in this one. We have Metro Boomin, the Metro Boomin, I guess, is here playing Mario Kart. We have Me Gamer's dad, of course, Ninja Scar. We have seen repeatedly. She's going to be that little girl walking on the stage, is actually a really good competitor. So we'll see her try and get into one of these top 2 spots. And lastly is going to be Lil's Beast 19 at the end of that one. Got some information though here. There's going to be a lot of very stiff competition. Obviously, with the likes of Kyrat being 5th ranked and Marshall being 8th ranked, they're going to try and get those top 2 spots. So it's really up to the rest of the new faces and old faces really trying to get back to those top 2 spots. Obviously, we saw Flash and Zovko able to take out those top 2 spots from the first qualifier, so they're already guaranteed to the final 10. And now it's up to one of these new faces to really get past these ranked players, though.
Absolutely. And by the way, I just want to look over at some of the future qualifiers and some of the most notable names that are going to be happening here. In qualifier number 2, there's a player called Kit Kat. In qualifier number 3, there's a player called M&M's. And in qualifier number 4, there's a player called Reese's. I am absolutely in love with this very sweet playlist of names that are going on right now.
We'll see if that candy, I forgot what the candy map's called. It always goes through my head.
Sweet Mountain?
Sweet Canyon or something? It's one of the, I think it's
Twitch
one of those.
chat, tell us. We know that you can.
Twitch chat is always there.
The name's escaping us right now.
Yeah, but it's something sweet, obviously, like those names. So we'll see if they're able to get some high placements going forward. Obviously, going to be 6 races still for this number 2, or this qualifier number 2. But while we are at it, let's I'll bring in my second fun fact. And this is actually going to be the fun fact from Oliver, our tournament director, that I really have been waiting for. So according to a recent study, everyone listen up, all right? Everyone pay attention. According to a recent study conducted by USC, 9 out of 10 people who are afraid of hurdles never get over it.
Really? Hurdles.
Do you get it?
Afraid of hurdles, never get over it. I get the joke. I get the joke. I had to stop and think about that for us. I'm just going to look over at Ninja Scar right now, who is getting ready in the trademark ninja fashion, getting the hoodie up, wrapping it around.
I love this.
This is absolutely incredible, by the way, and she does it every single time.
That's commitment.
That really is.
And she's actually, put some stiff competitions, gotten some first places away from some of our ranked players alike. So, but yeah, that fun fact just made me laugh a little bit because I sat there and waited for a couple seconds, and then Oliver was like, "You get it?" And I was like,
Are you sure you're not going to be a teacher when you grow up? Because that was like a teacher pun at its finest.
That was like a dad level kind of pun, but like even higher. Because it takes the best thing about puns like that is when it takes people a few seconds to really understand what exactly the joke was.
For those people that don't know, I'm a middle school teacher, and these are the type of jokes I say in my classroom. That's how bad it was.
And that's what makes all the kids go, "Oh my God,
he
said that."
Just that. And we're going to look back over at Marshall, who is going to be wearing a Koopa shirt this time. He didn't wear one 3 weeks ago, and that was quite triggering to us because we as casters love to look at him and the shirts that he's wearing. He's got some very aggressive Koopa shirts.
Yeah, he has a lot too, surprisingly. I mean, this is another new shirt I'm pretty sure we have not seen. So I think he did not end up playing Koopa last week, not last week, a few weeks ago. I don't think he ended up playing Koopa in that case either. But we also had the name of the map we were talking about was Sweet Sweet Canyon. So that is what we were talking about. And I think I was close. I think I said Sweet
Kingdom.
Oh, it's one of the two. Okay, well, it's sweet something nonetheless. But these players are getting ready for qualifier number 2. Twitch chat not too happy with me because
no.
I can understand why. I think that joke was pretty good, though.
Well, Video Toy Gamer did also say, I bet the guy with the Koopa shirt will go as a Koopa Troopa. There's only, I think, one time where he didn't. But the answer is yes. He loves running as a Koopa Troopa character because he's really good at it.
That's true, yeah. Most of the time, he's able to get those first place finishes. Actually was our number 1 ranked player for a long time before we saw the likes of Flash and also Michael come in and really start to take those ranks away from him. So Marshall's definitely one of our really, really good racers, and he's going to be that one more than likely in that Koopa going forward into the rest of these races here as they are getting ready for the start of the first of 6 races. I wish I had more jokes like that. And see, I just have like fun facts. I really need to find more like that are just like really funny puns. That just, pun/fun facts. I'll have to do that for next time.
I thought of a rock joke, but I don't know. It just kind of fell hard. So.
I was waiting for it, whatever the punchline was, and that it dropped quickly.
I love I love puns. Puns are great. We're going to look back over at the racers right now while we continue to look up more puns on the internet. We'll definitely share them along with you, along with some Nintendo fun facts, by the way. I actually have no Nintendo fun facts tonight.
And that makes me sad because I learned all of my Nintendo knowledge from Jake. If you haven't heard any of them before, he has literally all the Nintendo information you could possibly ever want. Just like crazy names like Yoshi's actual real name.
Yeah.
Bowser Jr. is not actually Bowser's son.
Yep.
We have Kiro. Is it Kiro? Cairo? Kiro. I got it. I don't really. I don't care what it is because you need to stop dabbing. That's what I. That's what I need. Oh,
there it is.
Get him off the camera.
And there's another one right there
Zovgo.
from Zovgo. And then Geronimo, I'm going to call on him to be able to do another dab as well. He's already got the feathers, so every dab that he gives is super lightweight and easy for him.
I just got a quick update. Zovgo out of the final 10 for dabbing, so that is super unfortunate for him. But just kidding, of course. But these players are still getting ready, and obviously there's some quick things that happen, when in this pick phase. Obviously, you can pick wheels, you can pick your cart, you can also pick your glider. All of these really come into effect throughout the later of the games. Obviously, making that kind of average build is going to be better for a lot of these normal players. If you haven't really played before, picking that middleweight character really to get all those average stats and, more of an average loadout is definitely still going to benefit you. Obviously, you'll have the average top speed, the average acceleration, but you'll still be able to pretty much constantly be in the top 5 most of the time if you're able to just race well. And that is ideally what you're looking for moving forward here. But a lot of the time we see heavyweight characters really being prevalent here in the Saturday Night Speedways. Just as it seems most of the time players would rather have the higher top speed than the higher acceleration. Just because once you finally get to that max top speed, you're able to consistently hold that, and that's what the really good players are able to do.
100%. By the way, looking over at Twitch chat while we do get this qualifier started here, PB Hot Dog is actually one of our racers here, sitting in second in the wild card. Actually said he thought he did a lot better. To sit with 44 points inside the wild card, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot in the wild card at this point. Geronimo with 45, PB Hot Dog with 44, and then Logan 95 with 36. These three we can almost guarantee are going to be there. Point spread right now is extremely low compared to what it normally could be. What was the average? I mean, 30 or more can almost guarantee you a spot in the wild card, right?
Yeah, that was with 5 qualifiers, though, so it's a bit different on the point spread,
True.
Especially with two more races in some of these. So we'll see that point spread be a little bit more, but Video Toy Gamer chat said, I wonder if someone will pick Toad because he's a fun guy.
Oh, my. Wow.
Get it? Because
somebody actually did it. And fun fact, his Toad head is actually a hat.
Yeah, that's the terrifying part.
Even though Nintendo said no, it happened in the cartoon, and if you see it on TV, it must be real.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, I think you ended up showing me, someone ended up showing me
awful
what it looked like without the hat on.
It's
and
just
terrifying.
Scary. It's absolutely just 100% gut-wrenching. My childhood is immediately ruined when I saw that live. I was absolutely just horrendous.
And Zovgo said, didn't think I could get kicked out of top 10 for dabbing. Well, in my head you can, but not actually in the tournament.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But
yeah.
I think you should.
No, I disagree. I love the fact that you cringe with every dab, and the cringe only gets worse the more that they do it.
Yeah, because, I mean, a few weeks ago, they had like 20 of them in the camera shot dab on camera, and I almost left. I was almost like, okay, it was a great night. Have a good night. I'm out of here. I don't want to be here anymore.
I feel at some point the production manager is just going to put a timer or a counter on the board that's just going to see either how many dabs we can do in 1 minute, or how many just a count of how many dabs have happened at some point overnight. I just really feel like that's going to end up happening.
You heard Cairo. I already forgot. Was it Kiro?
Kiro.
Why do I keep saying Cairo?
Because you're not an English teacher like me. That's why.
That's true. That is true. But we're going into the first race here. It is going to be on Wario's Stadium. So we'll see this one play through in qualifier number 2. This is going to be race number 1 out of 6. So the competition is going to start out. Someone actually did pick Toad because he is a fun guy. So we will see that moving forward into this first race. Currently sitting in that 4th place spot as it drops down into this first place character is actually going to be Kyret on the Mr. Scooty, is going to be going forward here as Metal Mario as well.
Just wanted to point out that another player was also a Cat Peach, because that was a perfect choice.
I didn't like that one.
You didn't like that one? I'm very sorry.
That one hit home.
Yeah, well, it looks like this player is riding in the music cart because he apparently has the beat option to do so. That was a terrible pun as well. We just need to figure some out here. I'm going to start looking them up on the internet.
It felt a little off rhythm. That's what that sound was coming from. But
I see what you did there.
We'll see as the players are still trying to get into that first place spot. Obviously, the first lap is going to be finishing up here and going into this, and we will see. Even chat has a ton of puns. Everyone loves being funny, but Marshall is currently holding this first place spot here as the Koopa, of course, his likely character, and that's just something really cool thing as well. Obviously, these players don't own those characters, like it's not their character, but most of the time going through Saturday Night Speedway, a lot of these players have their own character, so a lot of the time we are used to them being on that character, so it's really cool to easily notice that. But you saw Marshall, unfortunately, not taking that corner too well, is actually going to drop off of that first place spot, and we have a Toadette actually currently sitting in that first place instead, as Marshall drops all the way down to third with that unfortunate finish. But some crazy items coming out of that third place box is actually going to project him close to that first place again.
And one of the things that he was able to do was he was utilizing that mushroom to go through the outside of the red zone, which is actually called a dirt area. Other different names that you can obviously use as well, but he actually used it because when you go into those areas, you lose a ton of speed and a ton of time. But whenever you use a mushroom or any type of speed boost item, you negate that. So he actually used that to his advantage, took that left turn curve very tight, ended up getting back into second position, so really great position. Ninja Scar right now, not doing too bad, sitting in the fifth place and hitting all of the boost jumps exactly the way she should and looking stylish by doing it, almost so that you would never even think she was there. She's that sneaky.
Yeah, and we see actually that Toadette is still holding on to that first place spot. Very interested to see who this might be going forward. Obviously, still being able to keep that against the likes of Marshall and I believe Kyret, who are in second and third, is actually going to take that by a pretty decent margin too. So that is going to be the first race going out for this Toadette in first. Nicely done though, because Kyret and Marshall both are pretty decent ways behind, and we know they're both really, really good racers. So to see that sizable gap coming out is actually really impressive.
It really is. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the player that's going to be just to the outside of Kyret, which I believe is Gamehogg, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and we'll see. I think it is actually going to be Gamehogg, but that was a super, super good first place finish coming out. Nonetheless, definitely an interesting map, of course. Warriors Stadium is definitely one of those more easier maps, but there's obviously some difficult turns to take. And, even Kiro and Chad dabbing.
You can't get away from the dabs. They're not only in the arena, they're also in the Twitch chat because of emotes. And this is why Twitch is just amazing. The emotes can literally just be the one thing that makes you cringe the most, or the one thing you love the most, like little cat emotes that are holding on and eating hearts or something. Like, those are adorable.
Yeah, and something that they wanted to point out, chat, is isn't it kind of weird that Koopa's using a shell out of as an item?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, that just
sounds really wrong.
Is that his clothing? They were talking about. So is his shell his armor?
It's actually the shells of other Koopas, which means they have either given them away or have passed on.
Or
you never want to think about it. Wow, you went so dark. This is literally Mario Kart After Dark.
Hey, here's Rainbow.
No.
The Rainbow Road. Here's just something to lighten
not.
it up a little bit. It's apparently not, because Jake doesn't think this Rainbow Road ever actually
I don't
exists.
like this Rainbow Road. It's just weird.
It is. It's not. It doesn't feel the same as Rainbow Road, because it feels like there's many things that can stop you from falling. The whole point of Rainbow Road is to fall off. That is the main point of this map. It's just, if you mess up, you will fall off, and there's not too much of that. Obviously, going forward, it's not an entire Rainbow Road either. So, it feels like it lost its aesthetic.
You're really not wrong. If you're in Twitch chat, I want to know which of the Rainbow Roads was your favorite. Was it one of the ones from the Super Nintendo, or was it the Nintendo 64, aka the best one? If you say anything different, you're wrong. Or was it the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or even any of the ones from the GameCube or the Wii? I want to know which Rainbow Road was your favorite for you. Put that in so we can read it.
Yeah, SNES seems to be the favorite so far. I mean, definitely. I like the N64 one. You like the N64 one,
I do
too. I really think that one's the most colorful and definitely a lot of fun to actually go through and play. But Ninja Scar currently sitting in the fourth place as the Villager is going to just try and go through this Rainbow Road and see if she can get herself a first place potential finish. Mushrooms on this map are very, very dangerous, though. We've seen a lot of the time players getting a little bit too much speed going into some turns and falling off. Exactly what you saw right there happen to Ninja Scar. So that is super unfortunate. And something in this game that doesn't happen in any other Mario Karts is blue shells actually go on the ground and not completely in the air. So most of the time you can have a couple people getting hit by the blue shell on its path.
Yep, it looks like Kyrie almost ended up getting pushed off the map by, I believe, Marshall, if I'm not mistaken. Going to go back over to Gamehogg, now sitting in, again, a comfortable first place position, and now being edged out by, I believe, Marshall. So now Marshall going to be taking second place. They're going to be utilizing the boost options, and he is going to be stealing it, and now using a red shell defensively. Amazing plays here in lap number 2 as we lead into lap number 3 here. First turn, and we are going to see Marshall taking that inner edge red zone, and he is going to actually lose it. Hits the red shell against Gamehogg, and going to be losing a ton of speed. And now our third place player is going to be coming up. It's going to be a Metal Mario here, and Gamehogg now going to be hit with that shell as well, so he might be losing a ton of options here. This is an absolute sore fight for first place right now.
Yeah, Marshall getting that first place back a little bit, but you see just 3 of them are extremely close to each other. This is going to be the likes of Marshall, Kyret, and Gamehogg that we did see take first place last time. So he's going to use that foghorn a little bit early to try and get his opponents away from him, which he does get a sizable lead, and he lands that shortcut. So Marshall in a great spot to try and take this first place out. Needs a defensive item, and he does get one in that case, but we see a red shell coming out from Kyret, able to take the second place at possibly the last second, but you see another red shell coming in, he actually hits it, and that's going to be a second place finish for Gamehogg as he gets passed on that red shell. Will end up getting that 1 extra placement against Kyret right there.
That is absolutely insane to see how fast the leads were changing back and forth. And now we obviously see that Marshall is going to steal first place away from Gamehogg right now. And you're looking in chat right now, something is there. What's going on?
Yeah, so Retnick says the only reason why Jake doesn't like this Rainbow Road is because he falls off this course as many times as he did on Wario's Gold Mine.
You see, okay, so I was really happy about Retnick being in chat, and now, you know,
quality.
That person has a great knowledge, too. Like, really
That's
great
true.
knowledge. And he had to bring up my hijinks.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sad about this.
I want to see you play on this map now that, considering, you know, Wario's Gold Mine, there was very few places to fall, and you still managed to fall. So
you're lying. I found them all.
You found every single part of the map to fall. So, you know, Rainbow Road would be a curse for you. But that is going to be the end of the second race, as we saw a different first place finisher. I believe it was Marshall for that first place, and we saw Gamehogg taking down that first place last time. So we'll see how everything does unfold, of course, for these gamers. Going into the third race here, going to be about halfway through this second qualifier. Of course, we only have 4 qualifiers for tonight instead of the usual 5. So there will be going through 6 races instead of that 4 that we normally see. So we'll see, you know, the point spread being very, very different. But Gamehogg and Marshall currently still tied for that first place spot with 22 points. This map is definitely going to matter a lot here.
And we do see Ninja Scar actually taking off the hood. No longer Ninja, no scars in there, so just another one of our amazing racers. And now we're going to the airport. We're actually getting this one correct. I'm not going to call it wrong this time. And the first thing that we're going to look over right now, it looks like Marshall is going to be stealing again that first place position. He has a good solid boost off there and does get a coin and hits a box, so he's going to actually lose a ton of speed. Falls down to third place here. Only has the coin, like you said. We'll give you a 2.5% speed boost if you do get all 10 of them. So right now, that is absolutely crucial. And this is going to be the first split off. You actually can go up into the plane or down underneath it. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You're not really gaining or losing a ton of time depending on which road you go into. But now this is where it's going to get interesting, because you're going to see Kyret. He's going to be holding him in the inner edges of the red zone on this turn as he does the 360 option and gets back into the airport. This is actually one of the shorter matches. You're going to save yourself about 18 to 20 seconds on average in this race per lap, depending on other races as well.
Yeah, and we see Kyret still currently holding that first place spot, has the potential to get to that 10 coin margin, but doesn't seem to use that just yet. As we see the green shell coming in behind as Gamehogg tries to connect with the player behind him. Does not unfortunately do so, so still trying to sit in that third place spot. Unfortunately running into some wheels right there. Not going to slow him down too much as he does have that mushroom immediately to follow, but that red shell going to slow all of his speed down, and you're seeing the blue shell already coming in here for that second lap, as that is going to connect with Kyret currently sitting in that first place. And the good thing he did get past this bridge here, because that would be super important, is obviously going to intentionally fall off right there to avoid that blue shell damage, but still took about the average time anyways to recover right there. So, you know, not getting too much of an advantage there, as that is an important strategy. If you do see a blue shell or, you know, a red shell coming in, falling off actually will take a little bit less time than getting actually affected by the shell. So you see that a lot of the time, the really good players will be able to kind of time that into a way where as soon as they fall off, they get hit by the shell. That way they just recover from the fall.
Yeah, and it looks like he ended up falling a little too late, so he ended up getting the damage of that blue shell, but not enough to be able to really warrant too much time. So he only lost maybe about an additional 1.5 seconds. Not a really bad position to be in right now, but now we're going to look back over to Gamehogg, now sitting in third. It's really been the same places pretty much the entire time, and we do see Gamehogg taking one of the very unintentional secrets that we don't really see from a lot of our players on stage. He actually went off the map completely and then utilized that mushroom to take Toadette right over the water. So great plays here, but looks like Marshall right now in a good solid lead here. He's going to have to use that coin immediately and get that green shell into defensive options just in case, because in the event that something gets thrown, he needs to make sure he has that defensive option available. And look, that's not going to do it, because right now he did take first again to back-to-back wins.
Yeah, and we will see that Marshall is able to get that first place again, which is huge for him, as it looks like Gamehogg was finishing that one out in third place, right behind the likes of Kyret. So those seem to be your consistent top 3 so far in this qualifier. Just kind of mixing it up between every race, though. It seems like Marshall has, you know, obviously gotten those back-to-back first places, but Kyret and the Toadette Gamehogg are very, very close every single race. So there's definitely a mix-up between these three, and that is just the end of the third race. So there could be a lot of potential mix-up going forward in this leaderboard. Obviously, only the top 2 will go straight to that final 10. The third place finisher more than likely to at least get a chance in the wild card round, and it's still going to be very, very important just to at least score that high. So we'll see if that does come out from some of these players.
Another thing I want to see come out on here on stage is Kyret's like super passion whenever anything
goes. I love it.
I know you love looking at it. Kyret is the most passionate player on stage. He will absolutely show his emotion, so much so that screen will be getting some very uncomfortable, very bleeped out words. We definitely know that for certain, but that's because he is very passionate, because he knows he is one of the greater racers. That's why he is ranked number 5th inside the arena.
Yeah, and we are going over to this 4th race here, and we will see, I believe this is Wario's Mountain? So, what is it? I can't remember the exact name of it.
We're going to put it in chat because I'm not going to tell you. I want chat to tell you because I want them to tell you exactly
what forgot what it's called, too.
No, it's Wario Mountain. It's Mount Wario.
Mount Wario, that's what it's called.
I wanted to see if they were going to tell you, because I knew what it was. I just wanted to see if they were going to tell you because you needed to know.
Twitch chat is just a bunch of geniuses.
I know.
Some of the time, but most of the
time
they're not. Yeah,
wow.
Most of the time.
Do you hear Twitch chat? Do you hear how he's saying it?
They understand. They know.
Wow.
As we see, Ninjascar actually currently taking this first place spot, though. This is exactly what we're talking about going into these races. I mean, a very, very young racer nonetheless, but still able to try and get this first place finishes. Is going to go up against the likes of Kyret and Marshall right in front of her. So has to be careful on some of these bump trades here. As you see, repeatedly going back, is actually going to get hit by the banana, currently sitting defensively behind the likes of Marshall. As we see, this player, as Toad, is currently sitting in 3rd place. Very, very fun guy indeed. And we will see him try and place higher here. Has had some pretty decent finishes, I believe, in 4th place for most of the time, as he's been trailing behind the likes of Marshall and Kyret and Gamehogg. But you see Marshall in the 2nd place spot with a sound horn is going to try and defend whatever he can. Obviously, you can use the sound horn for multiple reasons. You can use it for red shells coming at you. You can use it for blue shells. That's one of the only ways to actually stop blue shells from connecting with you. There's also a very small mushroom frame that you can end up using. As soon as you use a mushroom, you can actually block the blue shell from coming in. So it's really, really strategic. And obviously, this is one of the few maps in a Mario Kart that you don't actually have laps. You just have kind of a straightforward map, and they will hit checkpoints instead.
Absolutely, and this is actually one of the times where we see the leaderboard changing again over and over again. We are seeing brand new names and brand new faces taken into the top 5, and that's really just showing the variance in just skill here inside the HyperX arena. Right now, going back over to Kai right now, sitting in a really decent 1st place by about 3 or 4 seconds, and if he is able to hold off, he's not going to really have anything right now. He's going to have to get this double box and find out whether or not he's going to get a good solid defensive item. He does. He's going to use a coin and hold into that banana, because right now he's only got about 10 seconds until he does get victory, and any item could take him out of 1st place right now.
There's a blue shell coming in. I don't know if it's exactly
going to be enough.
He's going to actually finish the pass and actually get that 1st place. So that is huge, as that blue shell was about to come in and ruin his whole day, because you could have seen about 4 or 5 placement drops right there if that blue shell was able to connect. So that was huge for Kyret to be able to pass the finish line there before that blue shell
connected. Is it bad that I kind of wanted to see it happen?
Too.
I wanted to see him rage on the stage. It's just awesome to
I really
watch.
wanted just to see the reaction, and then still, hopefully get 1st place, but I just wanted to see the reaction come out, because that is my favorite thing of watching Kyret race, is just his reaction to getting hit by shells.
Is that a DDR scarf? If I'm not mistaken, it looks like Dance Dance Revolution, if I'm not mistaken.
I haven't played that game in years.
Man, I used to be god tier with a controller on the PlayStation 2.
Okay, not gonna lie to you, I played on controller too, but both my sisters, they had the little mats, so they actually played on that while I played on controller. I did the same thing with Guitar Hero. I was not good on the actual guitar, but I could play expert easily on controller.
Really?
So that's when I knew I was a real gamer, when I could play on the controller instead of on the actual guitar. Found that out.
Interesting. Has anybody in 1st place gotten 2 coins from a double box before? If anything, that's extremely rare, if non-existent. We usually see at least 1 banana and 1 coin. Yeah,
most of the time it's a small defensive item and a coin. That seems to be the like 85% of the time it's like a green shell or banana with a coin. Most of the time, or some of the times, we've seen like 2 green shells, which is huge to get in that 1st place spot. Obviously, getting 2 defensive items. Sometimes it's obviously really rare to get the sound horn in the 1st place, but that's huge once you get it. That way you can stop any blue shells coming in. But it's going to be Sunshine Airport coming in again for the 5th race, I believe.
That's not really random.
Go into it. Yeah, it's random because we got it again.
Wrong. I hashtag again fake news. It's weird to have back-to-back maps like that.
That's true. I mean, especially, considering the map pool, we've not seen a few maps for a while that we were talking about in a few weeks beforehand, like the likes of Dry Desert. We saw a lot of it, for a few weeks straight, and then did not see it for another few weeks, and then saw come alive again 3 weeks ago. But we are seeing Kyret in this first place spot on the middle. Mario just trying to maintain his lead going forward, as him, Marshall, and Gamehogg have been consistently here in this top 3, competing up against each other, and it has been this close to every single time. You know, even going towards the finish line, they're just getting into this exact opportunity. But that green shell could have a potential outcome here if it does hit the likes of Gamehogg, which it does not, so he's able to get past that one. Going later on here into the rest of the track, going into that second lap, does have that red shell to close to the trail behind him, and Marshall still with that defensive green shell will actually throw that behind, so that red shell does not connect.
It is amazing to see how green shells are absolutely brutal in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. All of our players on stage have done an absolute amazing job of beelining all of those green shells into exactly where they need to be, lethally connecting with great accuracy. And Kyret now getting slammed off by, unfortunately, the blue shell and then a red shell to pull him back into second, I believe now into third place here. And one of the things I did see inside of Twitch chat is they're saying that Kyret is a speedrunner. Now, I did know that, but I didn't know that his reactions were something that he did on stream.
That's beautiful.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. So, what does he speedrun then? I'm interested to see what he's... Oh, Mario Kart?
Yeah, he's
I guess that
Mario
would make
Kart.
sense, yeah. I was like, what does he speedrun as he's playing the game he plays the most? It's like, oh, maybe Mario Kart.
If I'm not mistaken, this is also MeGamer's dad, who's actually sitting in 4th place doing a really good job right now.
Yeah, and we've seen MeGamer come out of the surprise in a few of these qualifiers in previous weeks. He's definitely, you know, come alive and able to take 1st or 2nd place in qualifiers. So we'll see him obviously later on as MeGamer's dad tries to qualify for himself, at least hopefully into the wildcard round, because it seems like 1st through 3rd is pretty locked down between the likes of Marshall, Kyret, and Gamehogg. We'll see if anyone else is able to at least get enough points to solidify themselves in the wild card. As you see, Blue Shell is actually coming in and has a potential chance here to get Gamehogg before he connects with that finish line, but luckily going to be able to finish that as the Blue Shell immediately comes in after. So it happens 2 races in a row where they barely get past that finish line and the Blue Shell comes out.
Gamehogg really showing a huge name right now against Marshall and Kyret now. And it's going to be possible that he might be stealing one of those 2 spots here to move into the final 10. And just by the way, putting it into perspective, before this race had begun, MeGamer's dad was actually sitting in 5th place with 25 points, not too far behind, with an opportunity to actually move up to 2nd if he continues to get good races under his belt.
And we'll see if he's able to do so. Obviously, I believe they have one more race after this. So this that was the end of the 5th race, and they have a potential to see what the 6th one is. Obviously, it could be a very difficult map. Could also see the likes of something like Baby Park, which I'd absolutely love to see as the last map for qualifier number 2. It always something we like to see. Obviously, Excite Bike for the last race.
There's nothing
the
exciting
first
about it.
There is nothing exciting about Excite Bike. It just feels like it's too easy. Same with Baby Park, but I feel like Baby Park is too item RNGesus. It's just like too much. It's when you're going through the rest of the race, somehow a lot of these guys are still able to finish in that 1st place ranking, but it just blows my mind because I feel like I would get so tilted on a map like that.
I absolutely love Baby Park, and I know you do too, because it's the only race that actually has 7 laps for one. And it's the one that like you said, item RNGesus is absolutely crucial, and it's just a bloodbath of items being spewed all over the place. If you don't get hit by an item, that's absolutely rare.
Yeah, and we see, so Kyret actually speedruns multiple Mario Kart games. So he does regular Mario Kart, Super Mario 64, and a whole lot of other things. So it does a ton of different stuff that Kyret actually does. So that's really cool. Fun fact that Kyret also is able to do a lot of speedrunning, and that is, well, I'm not going to talk about that. You just pointed at something in chat.
I'm going to bring it up then. Cunningham in chat says that this was actually one of the places I actually won Baby Park in an exhibition match. I actually was untouched and had one of the fastest laps on record for that specific Nintendo Switch on stage.
No, you didn't. I highly doubt that.
That's
Considering the
actually
gameplay
real
I've
news.
seen,
I'm not even joking.
Considering the gameplay I've seen from you, I highly doubt that's what happened.
Ask him. He was there.
And we see, currently sitting in 7th place is going to be this Toad. Trotman down a few spots, but actually able to gain a few spots in the lake, but has 0 coins, so won't be able to get any of that speed boost going forward into the rest of this lap here. As we see, this is going to be Marshall currently sitting in 2nd place, right behind Kyret in 1st, and then Gamehogg going to be in that 3rd place spot. So a lot of the time, these are going to be your top 3 for most of the races so far. Obviously, this is going to be the very, very last race for qualifier number 2. We'll see how it unfolds, but it seems like Kyret still with a pretty decent lead here.
I'm actually surprised, though, that he's taken that item box in the pit stop.
Yeah, most of the time that's what the earlier, well, later finishers, like, you know, the 5th through 10th place players really go for that shortcut instead, just to try and get an extra item advantage. Because most of the time, the first time, that's going to be a coin anyways, so it's not going to help you too much. As you see, the blue shell is going to come in and actually affect Kyret as he tries to go through a later stage. Gets hit by red shell and then immediately by blue shell, but he actually gets away from that frame dodge, so that is going to be huge for him to avoid that blue shell damage. And double lightning coming out, so that is going to be some unfortunate timing, as that one already did connect, and this looks like it'll be an easy first place finish for Kyret as he takes that finish down, and that'll be another potential first place for Kyret. We'll see if he ends up getting first place overall in the qualifier here, as it looked like currently Me Gamer's dad actually got second place, I believe, in that race, so nicely done for him to take that one out as well. And definitely interesting racing coming out, as we saw Gamehogg, one of the potential top 3 finishers most of the time there.
I'm actually quite curious about how he did that perfect frame dodge, the way that he did. Looking back over at the not ugly sweater, and there is the wonderful dab coming from, and there's another one. All of the crazy dabs going on, and Zovgo really is just going crazy right now. If there was a counter, we would have been lost like a thousand dabs ago, 100%.
I'm already, every time I see a dab, I get lost. So that's just how I feel in general when I see dabbing.
It's about as lost as me trying to race on Wario's Goldmine.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can't believe that's still a thing in 2018, almost 2019, that dabbing is still alive.
We ended up bringing it back. We're not going to lie. I think, honestly, it was kind of my fault. I brought it up at one point, and then people just kind of rolled with it here at the Saturday Night Speedway.
That's what happens. Anytime you're like, hey, oh, I can't believe dabbing's a thing, and then everyone's like, I'm going to be a rebel, and then they dab, and you're like,
I was the one that brought back the dad memes of 2017. I'm sorry. So what would be 2018? Would it just be the floss?
No, because the floss has been a thing before Fortnite, which anyone doesn't actually know. So floss is not an actual Fortnite dance. Floss is way before that. So no, I don't think that's a 2018 meme. Maybe Fortnite in general could be a dead meme in 2019.
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, we're a little bit over that game.
I'm really curious to see what game is going to knock out Fortnite. I want to see Mario Kart eSports really knock out Fortnite. If anything, it could absolutely happen. By the way, Video Toy Gamer did ask, do you need to be in Vegas to join the Saturday Night Speedways? The answer is yes. It is a local tournament. It is live here inside the HyperX eSports Arena here inside the Luxor. And if you are not already doing so, make sure on Twitter you are following us at HyperXESALV and using the hashtag, joining the conversation, letting us know what you're doing, what you're liking about it.
Yeah, of course you can, if you do come to Las Vegas, you can always play in these tournaments because it is just, you know, local competition. You can always sign up and play if you are here in Las Vegas. So no matter what, you have an opportunity to play, especially in something like Saturday Night Speedway, where it's it's still a very competitive tournament, but it's one of those really, really fun ones just to compete in general, because it's, you know, still obviously cash prizing, but it's one of those times where you can just kind of enjoy being on the stage and just kind of have fun. You know, we see that a lot of times with the veterans that are coming back week after week. Unfortunately, we have the likes of Young Lion, aka Guinness Guy, not joining us anymore until February, so we'll see him in a couple months actually.
I really hope he
shortly getting there, but he's one of the few players that we really saw had a lot of fun when playing Mario Kart.
100%. It was absolutely amazing. And if anybody doesn't know, his nickname was Guinness Guy because we actually had a counter of how many Guinnesses he drank while he was on stage. And
got to 8.
He got to 8. That was pretty close to double digits. Quite scary, but quite funny.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I had guessed 8 originally in my head, then I went back down to 6. So I was mad at myself because it did end up getting to 8. But then again, every time we ask him, he loses count, so it doesn't really matter because he doesn't remember how much he's drank so far. So that was always a good reminder to feel like where he was in the drinking scale.
Right. And by the way, just to give a perspective, because I know somebody did ask in chat, it was Marshall and Kyret who ended up winning into that second qualifier.